Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 5th episode of Heather Shaw is Kidding. How did you celebrate January 6th, huh? The 3rd anniversary of January 6th. Where were you? Were you on your couch being a good citizen, or were you at the Capitol taking a shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk? Don't tell me. I'm not a Fed, but don't tell me. 3rd anniversary of January 6th was this past weekend. Boy, what a time to be alive, huh? Just a bunch of white nerds, angry that they didn't get their way, storming the Capitol with their bottle of, pills and meth and bearskin rug shawls. I'll always love the old lady that stormed the Capitol. I always wonder where she's at. Did she go down? Is she in prison? You know who I'm talking about? The old lady who looked like she had no teeth, just grinning in that photo, holding her Dollar Tree flag. I don't even think she was part of the riot. I think she saw a group of white men and she said, "Count me in. I love a good gangbang. A Capitol Hill gangbang." I don't know where she was. I don't know where she is now. I think about her often. She's my grandma. I never told anybody that, but Grandma, if you're listening, I love you, and please don't do that again, okay? All right? You have the same mental capacity as Joe Biden. You both don't know where you are. Come home. The family misses you. The podcast is doing good. I'm loving it. We've got a good following over on Patreon. That's fun. If you haven't been on Patreon yet, get on Patreon. There good stuff is going on over there. Extra bonus episode every week. I told a good story about Casey Anthony, a personal Casey Anthony story, because I used to live in Orlando, Florida. I made it out alive. You know what I mean? Where's my Purple Heart? Anybody who leaves Florida should automatically get a Purple Heart. This is not up for debate. But I told a good Casey Anthony story, and I have a picture to back it up that I'm too scared to post publicly. Because now that I have a following, I'm real worried about lawsuits. But if you are a Patreon member, you can see that picture. You can hear that story. Please don't share that picture. I'm trusting you. I know nothing about you. If you're a Patreon member out there, please don't share that picture. Dear God, we'll all get sued. It's not a bad picture. It's not like Casey Anthony spreading her legs open. Childless legs. But it was a fun thing over there in the Patreon, so please join it if you want. Bonus episodes, we go live, all of that good stuff. What's going on? This has been a busy week. This has been a very busy week. There's a lot of different stories. Gypsy's still doing her thing. Katt Williams is doing his motherfucking thing. I fucking love it. Katt Williams went on that Shannon Sharp podcast show. Shay Club or whatever, fucking told everything. And I believe him. We'll get into it. Epstein documents got released. Those are real. Those are real surprising, the people on that list. What? Bill Clinton? You don't say. Judge got jumped. We're going to go over that. There's a lot to cover. A lot went on this week. And now that we're in 2024, we're going to have to gear up for the election, which just seems, like a suicide pact at this point. If you're voting in the presidential election, really it's just, it's who do you want to die less by? It's going to be a rough election. It's going to come down to Joe Biden or Donald Trump, whose combined age is 550 years on this earth. It's which dinosaur do you trust the most to not harm you? That's what it comes down to. It's really hard to justify voting in this election, I personally don't want to do it. I don't want to have to drag my ass into some fucking library, some local county library, and vote for one of those gizzards. It seems like the worst. The worst choices. Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Boy, that's great, huh? And then people try to shame you for not wanting to participate in that vote. It's choosing two grotesque things. It's like going to a restaurant and having to choose between violent diarrhea and projectile vomit. Those are your only choices. And you're in the restaurant like, do I even have to do this? I don't want to do this. I don't want to partake in this. I don't want either. I hate diarrhea. It burns coming out. I don't like projectile vomit. It burns going out. They're both awful. Why are you making me do this? And then there's people in the restaurant that are like, hey, it's your civic duty. You have to vote for diarrhea. If you don't vote for projectile vomit, that means diarrhea is going to win. You're basically handing the win to diarrhea. It's like, I hate it. And I hate the shaming. You know, my fiance now, I got to get used to that. My fiance is very like, you have to vote. Yeah, I get it. I need to vote. You know, it's my civic duty to vote between two large lumps of shit. But I don't want to partake in it. I don't believe in any of it. You know what I mean? And I hate the shaming of it. What do you mean? What do you mean? I hate it all. I'm kind of jealous of felons. Felons can't vote. They're doing it right. If you're a felon, you are so fucking lucky. You saw the future and you said, I'm committing a crime. I don't want to partake in that shit. You're so fucking lucky, felons. Gypsy, is Gypsy a felon? I don't think she can vote. I don't know. I don't think she's voting. That's great. I'm so jealous of Gypsy. I should have murdered my mother to get out of this vote. I mean, I wish I would have knocked over a bank 10 years ago. Then I wouldn't have to partake in this goddamn election. The felons are doing it right. I mean, it used to be that felons were real upset that they couldn't vote. Now felons are like, thank fucking God. I'm not going to get blamed for any of this. You know? I'm so glad I sold heroin out of my trunk in high school. We'll see with this election. The only good thing that can come out of this election is you know, comedy. There's only going to be there's only going to be funny things that come out. Joe Biden's going to, you know, fall asleep at the podium. I want to see the debate. Is the debate going to be Trump and Biden? Just seeing who can go the longest without shitting their diapers? I don't know what we're going to do. It just seems, you know, but Joe Biden has an insane facelift. It's kind of impressive. I'm not excited about the election. I'm excited about the comedy that comes with it. You know, I can talk shit on it, but boy, I don't want either of these fucking dinosaurs running the ship, even though, you know, presidents don't really run anything. It's all kind of a puppet master. But Gypsy, I don't know if she can vote. She's doing great. Shout out to Gypsy. She went hard. I called it, man. She's doing Get Ready With Me's. She's hitting it hard. She's going on Good Morning America. She's going on The View. God, The View. I can't believe that's still around. I miss when The View was just Rosie O'Donnell yelling at Elizabeth Hasselbeck about how 9/11 was an inside job. Those were the golden years of The View, wasn't it? Rosie O'Donnell just telling Elizabeth Hasselbeck that jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. God, bring that back. Barbara Walters knew what she was doing by getting Rosie O'Donnell on there. God, I miss Rosie. I see her on TikTok here and there, but it's not the same as her yelling at Elizabeth Hasselbeck, that cunt. Well, yeah, Gypsy's doing the rounds. She's a social media kingpin now. She posts a video of her gazing into her husband's eyes, and it gets 3 million likes in a minute. It's amazing. Kris Jenner, watch out. She says Gypsy's husband is laying that fucking pipe. That's what Gypsy's saying. She said she loves his fire dick. You know what I mean? Which means he probably just has crabs. It just burns when it goes in. It's got a little gonorrhea. No, they seem happy. They seem in love, you know. If I were to debate Gypsy on this, I would say, of course, his dick is fire. You haven't had any in like your whole life. You know, you've had maybe one dick and that dick killed your mother. So now this dick looks fire, but it's really just adequate. It's fine. Maybe he does know how to lay the pipe. But she's been locked up with women for 7 years. She'll take anything. You know, you're hungry enough, you're going to eat. You're going to eat what you can. But she seems happy. You know, she's out there hitting up the podcast and being a social media star. I'm proud of her. I hope she never gets on OnlyFans, you know. I don't think she will. The problem is she's an instant celebrity now, but, you know, the way our attention span goes in this country now, man, she's got like 3 months, and then, you know, those likes on her pictures are going to plummet. She better get a reality show. Free Gypsy. Only on E. Maybe a Bravo show. The Real Housewives of, you know, Louisiana. The Real Housewives of Munchausen syndrome. She's the only cast member on The Real Housewives of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Hi, I'm Gypsy. Cross me and you'll die. She seems happy. I'm happy for her. She deserves all of the good things that come in life. She's had a rough childhood. She seems to love her husband, you know? She's still got the high voice, so that's surprising. Here's my thing, and maybe I'm very wrong, and you know, whatever. This may be just my thought that I have to get it out, but Gypsy's voice, when you're a grown man and you decide that you want to bang a woman with that kind of voice, is that not a little pedophilic? Just a little? Do you know what I mean? It's just, she sounds like a child. It's a little, how do you have sex with that? Hard. You know, if I were able to get boners, I would lose it real quick if the woman beneath me was like, oh yeah, no, I'm out. Whoa, go to school. You got to learn your ABCs. But they seem in love. It just seems a little creepy, you know. Shout out to her husband for being able to lay down that pipe with that voice. You know, nothing wrong with Gypsy. It's just a very innocent, childlike voice. You know, it's like when guys specifically date Asian women that are like 20 years old. I wonder why, you know. It's just his type. He just likes them looking young, you know. Is it a little fetish? I don't know, maybe. But I'm happy for them. I'm just saying it's a little... there was a TLC show with a woman. I think she was in her 20s. I think it was TLC. It had to be TLC. TLC has the most fucked up shows ever. You know, it's just like my 600-pound herpes life. They had a show with a woman who had a disorder that basically rendered her as a child. It made her look like a child. She had a childlike voice, and she found a boyfriend who was like, you know, her age, 20s, willing to date her and bang her. And you got to look at that guy and go, what are you up to? Why do you want to be with her? I think she should only be with people who also have her genetic disorder. Because it's real creepy when a healthy, grown adult man wants to bang a woman who's stuck looking like a 7-year-old and sounding like one. You may say I'm judging, and you're absolutely right. I am judging away at all of that. But shout out to Gypsy. She's doing great. Happy to see it. She seems to really love her husband. She really seems to really love her life. I wish her nothing but the best. And I hope she gets the best fucking dick every night from Ryan. I think that's his name. I didn't really do research on it. Katt Williams, man. Can we get into Katt Williams? That was some fucking shit. Katt Williams went on Shannon Sharp's podcast show thing. Did about almost 3 hours. It was like an Avatar movie length of talking shit, and I was fucking here for it. I fucking loved it. He's calling out everybody. He got everybody sweating. You know, calling out Ludacris for being an Illuminati, calling out Kevin Hart for being an industry plant, and for lifting up Tiffany Haddish. You know, he really got into it. And people... Here's the thing. People responded as if he was telling the truth. Because if someone were to make a wild accusation about you, something that was completely false, would you hop on social media right away and just kind of be like, this is so, you know, talking shit about the person and being real defensive? Because I wouldn't go defensive. I would go, oh, that person's crazy. If someone was like, Heather Shaw has 4 balls. Heather Shaw, you know, I hear crazy shit. Heather Shaw is Jim Carrey's clone. I may make fun of it a little, but I'm certainly not defensive. You know, it's if it's a wild accusation, if it's completely untrue, I'm not going to get defensive about it. I'm going to laugh at it and joke about it and move on. But it seemed like some of these celebrities and comedians and actors and rappers that Katt Williams took aim at got a little defensive. Ludacris took to TikTok the next day and wrote like a rap about it, which he doesn't even do. He's like Nelly. These people, I mean, has Ludacris had an album out in the past, like, 20 years? I don't know. I don't remember. It's like Nelly. Nelly somehow has stayed relevant, even though all he did was wear a Band-Aid and drop one fire album. He had a shitty song with a country singer. That piece of trash, garbage song. But he stays kind of relevant. I don't know. I feel like Nelly still gets recognized. He's still kind of considered, like, maybe not. Maybe I just think he is. But Ludacris got real defensive real quick. Wrote a whole little rap about how he's not in the Illuminati, he's in the Ludinati. Okay, what does that mean? Is that a is that a denial? I don't have anything against Ludacris. Katt Williams might. Kevin Hart kind of took it the more jokey route. He was on some bullshit watching the NBA live show. Kind of joked around about it a lot, which is kind of the way to go if you're going to have to address the rumors or address what Katt Williams is talking shit about you being an industry plant. I mean, the best thing to do is just kind of joke around about it, not to be so defensive. Not write a whole rap bar about it and post it to TikTok, Ludacris. You're like 80. What are we doing? But yeah, Kevin Hart got called out. Tiffany Haddish, who has like 4 DUIs, which is amazing. Tiffany Haddish gets a DUI like every Christmas season. I think her last one was she was drunk coming back from, Hollywood, I don't know, Laugh Factory or the Comedy Store, something like that. And she fell asleep in her car. In Tiffany Haddish's defense, she used to live in her car, so when she gets behind the wheel drunk, she's just going home in her head. I'm sure she thinks I'm just at home chilling drunk. And it's like, no, Tiffany, you're actually in your Acura right now. This is a drunk driving charge. She's racking them up like they're Pokemon. She's collecting them all in LA. But I don't know. I mean, Katt Williams once said something about Tiffany about how if she was a real stand-up comedian, she'd at least have one special, which is a valid point. Now, I don't have any specials, but I'm also not on Tiffany Haddish's level. I'd like to put out a special this year, but I'm certainly not on Tiffany Haddish's level. Been in movies, can get up anytime you want at the clubs in LA. Personally know Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart has lifted you up, and you have no comedy specials and you're a stand-up comic. That seems a little fish. That seems a little BV. That seems a little vaginosis to me. But it was a wild interview. I really enjoyed it. Boy, Katt Williams, I don't know what's going to happen with him. I hope he just continues to release specials. I think he's got like 17 out there. I had no idea he had that many specials. I don't know if that's true. Here's the thing. I believed Katt Williams in that interview. I did. Is there a little bitterness? Is there a little haterade going on? Maybe he's a little bitter at other people's success because Kevin Hart kind of mentioned, not in reaction to his interview, but in the past, Kevin Hart has said like Katt Williams had the opportunity and just didn't show up. Literally didn't show up to the job. He said, there's been rumors that Katt Williams has had a drug problem, which is believable, but not super hard concrete evidence that he has had a drug problem. It's just, if you're rich and most people, can fall into the temptation of drugs. But who knows? I just love that Katt's just out here saying shit and saying poetic shit. The way he uses his words, he's like a master. You align yourself with losers or something like that, he said to Shannon Sharpe. Which I thought was beautiful. He said it way better than what I'm saying. But if you haven't seen that Katt Williams episode, you can see tons of clips on TikTok if you don't want to sit down for 3 hours and watch like a Joe Rogan-esque podcast with Katt Williams and Shannon Sharpe. Who, Shannon Sharpe, it's hard to listen to Shannon Sharpe sometimes. He sounds like a horse that just learned to talk. He's just kind of, he's got a deep voice. But if you haven't, go watch some clips on what Katt Williams was saying. It was really entertaining, and to me, it seemed true. It seemed like he kind of had the receipts, and everything he was saying was kind of legit. And who knows? I mean, there may be some sprinkling of bitterness, but it seemed to hold up a little, and it got people sweating. If somebody were going to go on Shannon Sharpe's show and say some wild shit about Ludacris that wasn't true, I don't think Ludacris would address it. I think he would just go, okay, who gives a fuck? That person's nuts. I don't give a fuck. You remember when everyone thought that Lady Gaga was a hermaphrodite? That was a fun one. I miss those kind of rumors. She addressed it great. She made a joke of it. I forget what she said. Probably like, I like to fuck myself. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, I recommend going and seeing that interview. It was great. A dream podcast would just be Katt Williams and Kevin Hart sitting down and hashing it out with Tiffany Haddish producing it. That'd be fun. I have nothing against Tiffany Haddish. I just don't know. Again, I have not seen a special of hers either. So that's interesting. It's very few people are comedic superstars like Tiffany Haddish and don't have one special. And she could afford to buy joke writers. She could just pay for jokes. So I don't know what's going on there. She's too busy getting DUIs, I guess. Allegedly, not even allegedly. That's pretty much a factual thing. You can look it up. All right, let's get into this little ad read here from our podcast sponsor, Lucy Brown Coffee, baby. I love it. You can now enjoy coffee from Lucy Brown Coffee Bar that is located in Lexington, Kentucky, but you can enjoy their coffee without ever leaving the comfort of your own home. Are you kidding me? You know, come on. Lucy Brown is now offering coffee subscriptions. This is perfect for 2024. Simply fill out the form on their website, and you get coffee beans from different and exciting roasters sent straight to your door while you're still in your fucking underwear, watching The Real Housewives of Munchausen Syndrome by proxy. You can be ordering coffee straight to your door, getting amped up. Come on. And that just starts at just $20 a month. Are you kidding me? Do it. Visit lucybrowncoffee.com, and that's LUSSI browncoffee.com, and follow the coffee subscription button to get signed up today. And if you use the code Heather Shaw is kidding, you'll get 10% off your first order of your coffee subscription. Are you kidding me? I'm not kidding. This is the one time I'm not kidding. This is a good deal. Check out Lucy Brown Coffee, LUSSI Brown Coffee, and get that coffee subscription. I love them so much. They are here in Lexington, Kentucky, but you can be anywhere in the United States and get their goddamn coffee. So do it. Make me proud. All right. We got to get into Epstein. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Are you fingering yourself? Are you jacking off to my voice? Stop it, you weirdo. The Epstein documents were released. I guess, so these names that were released, people get confused. These names that were released are not just like flight log names. It's not everybody that's been on an Epstein flight. Although I have seen a lot of interviews with celebrities being like, yeah, I went to Epstein's house, but it was just because I knew a guy that knew him, so we went. It's like, it already sounds fishy. Already it sounds fishy, you know? I mean, I've been to weird, you know, I used to drink, I used to do drugs. I've been to a fucking weird kitchen at 1 a.m. doing cocaine, you know? But I think if it was Epstein's, I might, even in a coke high, I'd be like, we aren't going in there. There are children in there. They can't see me doing coke. So I think these documents are a culmination of flight logs. So, you know, Bill Clinton has been on that flight. You know, Bill Clinton got his pilot license. He's been on that flight so much. He basically knows how to fly a plane, you know. It's like 50 plus times he's been on that fucking flight. I mean, one time you get a, okay, maybe you didn't know. But where the fuck you going on that flight? I think that plane only goes one place, to that weird temple on the island. You know, what are you doing there? Did you just need a tan? You wanted to go to Little St. James Island? I love that it's Little St. James. Like, it's in the name. This is a pedophile island, man. You know, this isn't adult St. James Island. This is Little St. James. This is pre-period St. James Island. Prepubescent St. James Island. So the list is a culmination of flight log. People have been on the flight logs. But also what I realized and learned is that anytime a celebrity was named in the deposition of the victims, they are also included in the list. So, for example, Cameron Diaz, Leonardo DiCaprio, these are the two names that stood out for me that were part of the list. However, they were just included in the deposition of what the victims were saying. So in one part, the victim says, yeah, I was around Jeffrey Epstein. He said he was on the phone when he got off. You know, he mentioned that he was on the phone with Leo DiCaprio. Or when he got off the phone, he mentioned that he was on the phone with Cameron Diaz. And who knows if that's true? Maybe Jeffrey Epstein was just trying to impress the person he just trafficked. You know, just because you human traffic somebody doesn't mean you don't want to wow them. You know, you may have trafficked me, but you know what I mean? Jeffrey's like, I may have trafficked you, but I still want to name drop. You know, I'm still cool, man. I know I'm a criminal, but I'm cool. I know Leo. So who knows if it's even true, the things that Jeffrey Epstein was telling these victims. I mean, there's no proof of that. It's just him getting off the phone saying, yeah, that was just talking to Leo. I mean, Leo likes them young, but I think he just likes them like, you know, just legal drinking age young, not 12. Leo has sex with headphones on. That's how connected he is to humans. It's very insane that he is an amazing actor who can convey human emotion because he can't even penetrate a woman without listening to The Weeknd. I don't know what he's listening to. What do you think he's listening to? A book on tape? He's listening to Matthew Perry's autobiography while just railing a woman. Maybe he's going to start listening to the newest Gypsy podcast, just getting off on her voice. That makes him a little pedophile. So yeah, I don't, you know, it's hard to say. So some of these celebrity names are just, they were mentioned, but never seen by the victims or were never on the flight. So it's funny to think that Cameron Diaz is just getting caught up in the crosshairs because her name was fucking dropped by Jeffrey Epstein because he wanted to sound cool in front of the woman that he trafficked. You know, like, so some people aren't guilty, but you know, when you've been on a flight 50 plus times and your past includes fucking an intern, getting blown by an intern and then coming on her dress while running the free world, you know, that's a more guilty thing. Donald Trump is definitely has close ties to Epstein. So it's both sides, you know. Don't worry, Dems. I'll take down it's definitely Trump too. Stephen Hawking was a surprising one. That's fun to think about. Stephen Hawking just rolling up on that jet. Not, you know, just typing in what he wants. I want a 12-year-old to suck me off. Stephen Hawking cheated on his wife with a nurse. There's a video on TikTok, a woman, I wish I could give her credit, but I don't know what her handle is, but she was hilarious. She's like, this man, you know, can't even, you know, walk, you know. He has to type by moving his eyes to speak, and he still cheats on his wife. Men ain't shit, you know. Stephen Hawking, that's a fun one to think about, because that's work to get him on that island, you know. You think it was wheelchair accessible? You think they had a ramp up to that temple? I don't think so. I think he was just rolling around in the sand. You know, they just had to push him into the sand. It took him, you know, 3 hours to go 10 feet. I want a 12-year-old to suck my balls. Massage my feet, you dirty whore. Massage. That's a fun one to think about. A lot of people have been commenting on TikTok because they can't. I don't know if they're trying to be funny. I think some are trying to be funny and some just truly cannot differentiate me and Jim Carrey sometimes. I'm seeing a lot of comments of, hey, you were on that flight, bitch. Because I have the face of Jim Carrey. You know, that's the other thing is Jim Carrey has been alleged to have visited or known Jeffrey Epstein. But who knows? It could have been one of those Cameron Diaz situations, you know, where he was mentioned. I'm not sure. I'm not researching it too hard. You know, I'm hoping that the guy whose face I have isn't a creep. I really hope that's not the case. Because that's the thing. If Jim Carrey ever gets canceled, so does my face. You know? Imagine walking around and you look just like Bill Cosby. You know, your whole life, people find you very endearing. You get free stuff wherever you go because you kind of look like Bill Cosby. It's a good life. And then in the past 10, 15 years, things go downhill real quick. You're getting turned away from diners. You know, you're not getting serviced at gas stations. You look like a rapist. I'm really hoping Jim Carrey does not get canceled. I mean, I am my own person. I'll be okay. But it's just weird to think that I'm walking around with a face of, you know, somebody who's been canceled for whatever. Serious canceled, not like, you know, A joke canceled. Sexual assault canceled. Been on Epstein's plane 45 times canceled. I don't need that. So I'm putting out the good vibes that Jim Carrey's never done anything that creepy. He's growing his hair out. Have you seen Jim Carrey? I mean, people keep sending me pictures of Jim Carrey. He's growing his hair out. I gotta say, he looks real good. You know what I mean? He looks good. Jim Carrey's face with long hair is beautiful. And I'm not biased. Why would I be biased about that? He looks great. It reminds me of what I would used to do as a child. I'd go around, I was probably like 10 years old. I'd go around being like, hey, that Jim Carrey, you think he's good looking, right? He's a good looking guy, right? He's hot. People are like, yeah, I guess he's not. I'm like, he's not ugly, right? You don't think Jim Carrey's ugly. Just basically just scoping out whether or not people think I'm ugly. That was my tactic. I wanted to know if somebody thought I was ugly. I'd ask them their thoughts on Jim Carrey's face. What do you think about his smile? Do you like his smile? If you're watching video right now, you're getting a lot of Jim Carrey face. So you're lucky. You're welcome. If you're listening to audio, just pretend Jim Carrey's talking. I don't know what to tell you. But I used to do that. It was a good way of, hey, even I should have used it when I was single. 20 years old, trying to hit on women at the bar. How you doing? You think that Jim Carrey's hot? Would you suck Jim Carrey's clit? No? Well, fuck you. That could have been a good opening line for me. I never used it. Yeah, but he's growing his hair out. People keep sending me pictures of him. I support it. He looks beautiful. Looks like a lush, set of hair. He's got a good length on him. It's shoulder length. He's going to be, I think he's going to be 62 this year. Look, I'm not like a Jim Carrey personal life fanatic, but, people send me these articles and it says the first line, Jim Carrey celebrates his 62nd birthday. That's how I know. God, before TikTok, I didn't know anything about his personal life, to be fucking honest. I really didn't. I knew he had a daughter and I knew he was like older than me. And I knew his movies. I was a huge fan of his movies, but I really didn't know anything about personal life, like his fucking star sign. Now I know he's a Capricorn. His birthday. Now I know his birthday is January something. His age. Now I know for sure he's 62. People love to send me fun facts about him. My favorite is when I get people that, claim to know Jim. That's a fun DM. I actually know Jim. I was his bus driver in 72. Yeah. He was a good kid. I don't think the math's right on that, but I don't know what to do with that information. I get a lot of people that say, yeah, I'm related to Jim, or, I clean his toilets. And I'm like, that's great. What do you want me to do with this information? I'm not I was talking about in the Patreon episode, sometimes I'd prefer to just not meet my heroes. I have such a high regard for Jim Carrey. I was talking about Kathy Griffin. I have such a high regard for her. I don't want to meet them and then that be tarnished some way, somehow. I'm not saying that they're awful people or bad people, but what if they're having a bad day? What if they say, get out of here, you little faggot? Oh, that's endearing. I would probably love that. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to meet my heroes. Every day somebody messages me, have you and Jim met yet? No, he's busy. He's loaded. He's retired. He's got long hair. Let him live. I mean, I don't even know what we'd say if we met. Hey, you, I like your face. It's like we can just look in the mirror. If I look in the mirror, I've met Jim Carrey. I'm good. So we'll see what comes of the Epstein docs. I'm guessing not much. Nothing ever really comes of it. Remember, Epstein killed himself and people were just like, oh yeah, it checks out. Yeah. The guy that was providing human traffic victims to huge names and leadership and celebrities. And, that checks out, that he would just kill himself and not be killed. Nothing ever comes of it. Nothing ever will, I don't think. We'll just go, oh, Bill Clinton. I mean, we were already looking at Bill Clinton like, yeah, that guy's kind of a creep. I mean, in the 90s, he was like charming and kind of cute and sexy and, got with the intern and that was like naughty. And he's just like, yeah, I could see that. I could see him needing some, 15-year-old puss out there with Stephen Hawking, playing the saxophone while Stephen Hawking gets his toes licked by an 11-year-old. I don't know what's going on that island. I don't want to know. We'll see what comes of it. I don't think anything really major will come of it. Maybe Katt Williams will release some info on it. I doubt it. I think Katt Williams knows what he knows, and he talks about what he knows. That's what I'll say about Katt Williams. He doesn't seem to just be spewing shit. But I don't think anything's going to come of this Epstein list. I think it's just going to be like, all right, it was released. I'm surprised it even got released. Is this even real? There's a lot of redacted names on it. I don't know what that means. What does that even mean? If we're willing to release Bill Clinton's name, Prince Andrew, who's the redacted? Did Barack slip somebody some money to say shut the fuck up? I don't think Barack was on that fucking plane. That plane seemed like it was whites only. Epstein's plane seemed like it had a strict code of race on that flight. We're only taking whites to the island. But who knows? I really don't. I'm not super deep into it. It's icky. I don't want to fall into a rabbit hole of Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell is supposedly locked up somewhere. Do we believe that? Have we seen a mugshot? And even if we have seen a mugshot, how do we know it's not AI? I mean, I don't know that I believe that Ghislaine Maxwell's just in some correctional facility in Delaware or whatever, Connecticut. She's probably in Abu Dhabi, enjoying life. She's probably on Little St. James Island, hanging out. I don't know that she's really in prison. We were just told that. And, the problem with being just told is you shouldn't just go off of what you're just told by the media, especially, So who knows if it'd be nice to think that she's just somewhere just rotting in a cell, making whatever Dorito stew, sharing stories like she's Gypsy Rose. I just can't see it. I think she's somewhere else. But who knows, man? Who knows? People got mad at me when I posted Jeffrey Epstein on Father's Day. I might do it again this Father's Day. I just don't want... I might get a community guideline strike, but it might be worth it. It was a fun thing. People were like, this is offensive. This is horrible. It was Father's Day. I posted a picture of Jeffrey Epstein and said, I miss you, Dad. Happy Father's Day. Haven't seen you in a couple of years. Haven't heard from you, but I hope you're well. Love you, Dad. People got very offended at that. I didn't do Little St. James Island. I'm a comedian. Leave me alone. It says in my handle, Heather Shaw's kidding. The last thing I want to talk about is that judge getting jumped. Holy shit. I'm sure everybody has seen the video of this. This was a fun one. I think it was in Georgia. I'm not sure where in Georgia. But boy, oh boy. It's only a fun video because you don't see the judge actually getting beat the fuck up. I think if you saw her getting beat the fuck up, it might be like, oh, this got weird. But you just kind of see a man, do a high hurdle jump over her judge's bench or whatever it's called into her face. The fact that he got from where he was and jumped over. I mean, I think those things are high, and he jumped right over it, pummeled her face in. She is no Judge Judy. Judge Judy would never let that happen. Judge Judy would have pulled out a pistol the minute he started running at her and just took his kneecap out. She just kind of braced for it, this judge. What else is she going to do, He was seeing her because I think he was up for parole or wanted to be released for domestic violence or aggravated assault, something like that. And she said no. And boy, was she making the right choice on that one, huh? You don't think she's second guessing her choice after he beat her ass? She said, no, I don't think you should be on the streets because you seem violent. And he just jumped over that bench and beat her fucking ass. What do you mean? And Judge Judy just would never do that. She would just shoot. She would take a kneecap out. She'd Nancy Kerrigan that bitch immediately. Judge Judy is weirdly sexy to me for being 90 years old. Why isn't she in charge? Judge Judy should be in charge of Congress. She's whip smart. She's sharp. She's still got her faculties, whatever they're called. Sorry, I'm thinking about Judge Judy naked. I can't talk. And the bailiffs were useless in that clip. I don't know if you've seen the clip. If you haven't, pause this and go look at this clip. I mean, what are bailiffs for? I don't understand how they're still around. They're like the bouncers of the courtroom. Why is every bailiff 85 years old? Every bailiff looks like they're a Walmart greeter. You know what I mean? Like, they should not be in this job. 99% of the time, all the bailiff has to do is stand there. But their 1% is when the judge gets attacked, and the bailiff can't do shit. I mean, every bailiff I see looks like he just has Alzheimer's. Looks like he just got out of the nursing home facility for the day on a field trip. His clothes are like, it looks like he's wearing like a party store costume of a sheriff. He's got like the plastic sheriff's badge. He's almost as bad as TSA agents. Bailiffs and TSA agents, they look like they're just cosplaying. They look like they should be at a Halloween party. Their clothes are made of like construction paper. Nothing's real, I don't know what bailiffs do. I guess they're like the courtroom referee. He didn't do a good job. I think like some young lawyer or something had to help take the guy out, remove him from the judge's face. But I think I don't know what bailiffs do. I don't even know how they get that job. What's the job interview? Do you have arthritis in all of your limbs? You're hired, Fred. You're a bailiff, baby. Oh boy, there was a lot going on this week. It was kind of a speed through of what was going on. But I don't want to talk too much about Epstein. I don't want to. Katt Williams said enough. Kind of went over Katt Williams. I could talk forever about Gypsy. I hope I get the opportunity to. I hope she doesn't fade away. I hope she does get that reality show. Free Gypsy, The Real Housewives of Munchausen Syndrome by Proxy, Louisiana edition. Do we think she's going to get a nose job? I'm not judging. I'm just asking. It's a beak. It's a beak, baby. She's got a beak. I think we take that down. She loses the husband. She gets with Pete Davidson. It's a party. I'm telling you. 5-year trajectory for Gypsy Rose is banging Pete Davidson with a, shaped nose. We'll see. I love Gypsy. This is not shit talking. I just love her. All right, before we get out of here, we can talk about a movie I saw. Last night I saw Pain Hustlers, Emily Blunt, Chris Evans. It was fine. It was good. It's a story that's been done to death, I feel like, It was fine. It was entertaining. The pacing was good. It's a fun storyline. I like storylines about cons, grifts, crime, drugs. This kind of had all of that a little, a lot of drugs, obviously. It was a story about kind of like a fictional story about the true aspect of like pill mills in Florida, which there's no better place for a pill mill than fucking Florida. Do you know what I mean? So it was about, Emily Blunt's a drug rep for some cancer medicine. That's fentanyl, basically just fentanyl. And bringing it to these like shitty clinics, these like, they're in strip malls. They look like they were once a party city. They were like a Spirit Halloween, and now they're a pain management center, just for drug addicts to go and score. It's a pill mill, a pain pill mill. So it just tells a story of that. It was fine. Emily Blunt, she's a great actress, She seems like she's kind of a cunt in real life, but what do I know? I mean, anybody that marries John Krasinski, it's kind of whack. That guy's so corny. Didn't he just turn into like a CIA operative? Just a propaganda machine for the CIA. That guy loves playing fucking fake CIA agents. Probably getting paid by the boatload by the CIA. He's like, I'm Jack Ryan. Like, no, you're fucking Jim Halpert. Calm down. She did great, though. She's a great actress. Chris Evans, great actor. Never got the sex appeal for him. He just looks like mayonnaise. He's plain. It's real plain, but he's a great actor. It was a fine movie. I'm sure there's been a million movies about this. I haven't seen many, but I enjoyed it. I think Rotten Tomatoes, the rating was like 22%. No one liked it. It was all the people that couldn't get fentanyl that went on to review this movie. They're like, I hated this. This reminds me of what I miss. I miss pain management clinics and crooked doctors who would write me a script because I got a paper cut. It was a fine movie. If you have any movie recommendations for me, let me know. I've already seen Debbie Does Dallas. I've seen it every night of my life. It's what I fall asleep to. I don't touch myself. I like the cinematography. Join the Patreon if you want. We're popping up over there. We're popping off, as they say. Got some good stories that I don't want to tell publicly. Again, the Casey Anthony one I don't really want to tell publicly. I might. I'm just a little bit worried about law, libel, defamation, slander. I don't know. I mean, she seems like she has no money. She would come after me for anything. But I have a first-hand account kind of thing. I have a picture to prove my story. I posted the picture on the Patreon. So if you're a member, I've said it at the top of the show, you will see that. Please, dear God, don't share it. And if you do, say you didn't get it from me. I'll be doing some shows. I'm working on booking shows. If you want to comment, tell me where to come. Not sexually, please. Just literally. What city to go to. I have Baltimore in February. I'll be in Baltimore, Maryland, and Batavia, Illinois. And then also in April, I will be in Indianapolis, Indiana, and St. Louis, Missouri. So I'm working on those. I'm working on a bunch of other shows, though. I have those done. I think that's all I had for you this episode. It was a lot going on. It seemed to be a little hectic, but I hope you enjoyed it. Go get yourself a Lucy Brown Coffee Bar subscription. You won't regret it. You get 10% off with Heather Shaw's Kidding promo code. I hope you have a beautiful one. I hope you're having a beautiful week. It's Wednesday. And I'm going to get out of here. It's Sunday. It's Sunday night. I'm going to go watch the Packers. I hope the fucking God they win. Go Pack Go. And if I don't, hit me up if you want to slide in my DMs. Don't send me a picture of your dick. Please, dear God, don't do that. I'm so sick of it. Have you heard me, Dad? All right. My dad's not sending dick pics. That's a bad joke. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go watch the Packers and drink a non-alcoholic beer. All right. See ya.